fit the puzzle pieces together as to what their childhood was like, but I think it would have been really cool to see.
Did you, in your own mind, create a backstory for Antari?
Totally. I think it would have been a similar situation where, like, she was a Nightblood, probably a decent human being, and then the Queen really messed that up for her.
Do you think that Echo and Antari would have been friends?
Probably. Is anyone in the 100 really friends to begin with? I think they probably would have butted heads at first, and then maybe seen that they could have worked together to achieve something great. Yes, exactly, allies, that's the way to put it, yeah.
And you know, a lot of people are fascinated by grounder culture and Ice Nation specifically, too much coffee. You know, I wonder, like, Antari's parents and how she became involved with the Ice Nation and, like, you know, your relationship with Rowan. Yes. So interesting. Mentor, like, how did you interpret your relationship?
Well, I know at first Zach and I were sort of discussing, like, are they brother and sister maybe? But then again, I don't know. I have no idea. I think maybe, I don't think they were related. And I think maybe Rowan almost, in a sense, just sort of, I think all of us were just following what the Queen wanted at that point, while she was still alive.
Would you say you had anything in common at all with Antari?
No.
Except maybe fierce loyalty.
Loyalty, yeah, that's a good answer. She was very loyal, and I hope to be the same.
I think you are.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
I would like to know how many hours in the makeup chair it took to achieve the Antari look, and what was that process like for you?
I think similar again with the other characters, in order to establish the look, like that's what takes the longest time, is because they are creating something that doesn't exist. And so playing with scarification, finding out how much was too much or not enough, and just the placement of all that stuff. Honestly, the thing that took the longest was, I think it played in the video, was when I was covered in the black blood from, like, killing all the Nightblood children. That was really hard to establish how much was too much black blood and how much was an okay amount.
What was your reaction when you got that script and you're like, I'm sorry, I do what?
Yeah, it was pretty much that, exactly, yes.
You obviously are playing a character that has a darkness.
Yes.
And was it easy for you to let that go when you went home for the night after you filmed?
Yes and no. There was something about holding that head because it was weighted that, like, it just felt, and it had hair on it. Like, it felt really real and really awful.
Wow. So, like, what? Is just like a plastic, was it like a...
No, it was like a heavy, like, prosthetic head. Like, I wish, obviously you couldn't have seen it because that was a little too far. But the way it looked, it was really, really, it was dark, as so much of the 100 is, you guys know.
Right, yeah. It's not rainbows and kittens, exactly. No. Another fan submitted this question online. DC Jeffrey would like to know, would you rather spend 6 years in space with 6 other people or 6 years underground with 1,200 other people? Now, you can answer as you and as Antari.
Are you underground?
In the bunker.
Okay, in the bunker. And how many people?
1,200 people.
Definitely that. The more people, I think.
For Rhiannon and Antari?
Oh, yeah, I think Antari was a grounder at heart. I don't think she would have wanted to be up in space.
And you want more people?
Definitely, more people is nice.
6 people, you might go a little cuckoo.
Whoa, for sure.
Yeah. How many of you would choose up in space with 6 people?
But it would depend what 6, right?
It
Like, if it
depends on
was
who.
6 people you didn't like, that would suck.
Yeah. Everybody loves. It's a lot of time in a small space with 6 people. Yeah. TWI Ducky would like to know, how do you think Antari would have handled the whole, and this is their quote, Prime Fire mess? Like, how do you think that you would have dealt with the oncoming, or Antari would have dealt with the oncoming Prime Fire? What kind of role do you think she would have played?
The really bad part where I don't say I watched that part of the show. I was like, can I wing it? Can I fake this answer? But I haven't watched. After I died, I was really sad. Like, I would have loved to stay in the show a lot longer. And I watch the trailer. I keep on top of everything that's going on, but it makes me sad to watch it because I really wish I could have been involved more.
That's a fair and honest answer. Yes. So don't ask her anything about Prime Fire. That's what we're going to open up to audience questions in a minute. I have one more question. Your favorite scene to film, and was it the open heart surgery?
Oh, definitely not. That was my least favorite scene to film.
Walk us through that.
It was brutal. I mean, it seems like it wouldn't be because I wasn't doing anything. I was dead. But I was like, they had a table, so like a long table, and then the only thing that was exposed was my head like this, and the rest of it was trapped in very much like a coffin. And then on top it was like that fake prosthetic body. And it was just like, it felt very, when you're looking down, there's like an out-of-body experience where it sort of feels very much like it's you and it's all actually really happening. It was like, it was a disturbing sort of day, as I'm sure it was disturbing when you watched it as well.
Can you tell us what the heart was made out of, what the materials they used for the inside of your cavity?
Well, gross.
Listen, I like to know the details, people.
Well, the same people that made the prosthetic body were the people that made Amori's hand as well. Like, they're super, super talented. So it's like that almost like skin sort of. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's like that fake prosthetic. I'm sure what they would use to make like a prosthetic limb for someone. Yeah. So it seems very, very realistic.
And having Richard Harmon massaging your heart, how was that?
Well, I've had worse days. You all know, if you've heard me speak about Richard Harmon, I don't have enough good things to say about him. He's just a dream.
He's delightful. Yeah. Is there anyone you wish you would have had scenes with or worked with on the show?
More Richard.
Oh.
And then I would have liked to work with everybody else. I think I would have liked, I'm sorry I didn't really have any scenes with any of the girls at all, maybe a little with Clark. But I would have loved to see how she held her own with people like Echo. I think that would have been cool.
Absolutely. Did you have to do any training for your physicality of the fights? And
Yes, even the smallest little thing, like when I attacked Clark, like that is all so choreographed because they have to be so careful that no one gets hurt. They spend a lot of time teaching you everything just to make sure everyone's safe.
Did you have a stunt